Dear viewers, this is Pastor Philemon Stephen Msonyama. Once again, I want to welcome you to this very short program. Today, I'm here with Pastor who is going to introduce himself.
I'm Pastor Denton Rhone from the Houston International Seventh Adventist Church, and I've been serving here for the past 10 months and been enjoying it.
Pastor, where are you from originally?
Originally, I was born in Jamaica, but I've served in several capacities all across the church. I think I've served half my professional time in Jamaica and half my professional time in the United States.
Okay. So since you moved to Houston, Texas, how do you compare the mission here in Texas and in Jamaica?
Well, in Jamaica, I was serving as a professor at the university, or Northern Caribbean University. I was there for a few years, so I was within that environment. Here in Houston, I've been surprised by the diversity. I've never met a city that is so happening, so progressive, so diverse. I'm totally in love with Houston. It's amazing. So it's a tremendous opportunity. In Jamaica, there's a strong aggression by the members of the church to lead persons to Christ. One of the things I love about the Jamaicans or the Caribbean persons is that they have been brought up to lead people to Christ, and I think that same burden is here. Maybe because Houston is heavily with persons, new citizens I call them, persons coming from all across the world into Houston with their culture of evangelism, so it's also here.
So Pastor, what the program do you have before the end of the year?
We're having an evangelistic series coming up with Pastor Bignall. That is going on, but we have a number of bridge events. We have about 30 ministries working within the church, and they have been working. We have had our international weekend, we have our health weekend going on, we have our Pathfinder weekend, we have our education fair. I could go on and on. Community services active, the youth, they are at work. There are a number of bridge events going on, and each of those bridge events, each member has a burden to lead someone to Christ. Each department is trying its best through its various ministries to lead at least 2 persons to Jesus. So we're having this culmination in this evangelistic series that will be beginning December 7th, going through the 15th, under the theme Healing for the Issues of Life.
Okay, so the series will start from which date?
December 7th. We're going from Friday night at 7 o'clock. Then Sabbath, there'll be 3 services beginning at 10, and then 11:15, and then 3. And then we have Sunday night as well. And Wednesday evening, we'll go back again at 7 on Sunday, 7 on Wednesday, 7 on Friday, and then we close on Sabbath.
Amen. Amen. And who is going to be the speaker?
This is Pastor Derek Bignall. He's a professor currently serving at Northern Caribbean University. He is extremely gifted. He's a musician. He's a gifted speaker. He plays, he sings, he composes, he writes songs, he writes plays, and he has a tremendous connection. His journey through the church has been with youth for the most part. So he has been a youth director repeatedly, and then he went to the union, served as union president, and then at the close of his tenure, he came to the university to teach, and is now working with teaching youngsters and leading them to Christ. One of the things I enjoyed while I was there, on my downtime, I would go by his class room to listen to him teach and to eavesdrop as he uses his guitar and music and different method to lead his children to Christ. Or the students, I should say. I call them his children because they tend to follow him around because he has this winsome, connecting personality. So he's the one coming, and we're looking forward to that.
Amen. And what kind of preparation do you want? I mean, maybe the church members or people around this area to prepare themselves for this series?
For our members right now, we're asking each member to identify 3 of their friends or family members who they know not saved. And we have formed various levels of prayer ministry. We are partnering with with our members to pray for at least 3 persons. So we have a whole bank of individuals right now that we are praying for, because we believe in the power of prayer. We believe that without God we can do nothing. So while the members are planning to be present, and while they are planning to invite their friends, in the meantime, we are saturating a number of these persons with prayer. So we have our Wednesday night devoted to prayer. We are opening up with 20 days of fasting over these names. 20 days of prayer. That's going to be beginning next Sabbath. To focus exclusively on these names, because we're taking this very seriously. We want to invite the Lord into these personal situations, and while he heals and help, we ultimately would like him to lead those persons to come to know Jesus Christ.
Amen, amen. Okay, Pastor, before I leave you, let me what do you say when you see the world, the way we see things happening all over the world? What do you say to our church members?
You know, I'm tempted. The temptation is to take a pessimistic view. But each time I'm tempted to take a pessimistic view, I remember Peter walking on the water. There was a storm. It was midnight. Terrible things were happening. The world was in chaos. His world. And Jesus said, look at me. And if you look at me, you can walk on water. Peter began walking on water. But the moment Peter took his eyes off Jesus and began focusing on the world, he began to sink. And I find that in my personal experience, when I began being too absorbed with all the things that are happening in the world, I begin to fall into despair and fear. And then I'm reminded that Jesus told me ahead of time, said, listen, these things are going to happen. When you see them happening, look up, because your redemption draw nigh. So I no longer get despair. I pray over them. I do my best to see what I can do to alleviate whatever suffering. But they drive me to my knees, and they remind me that this world is not my home, that I'm looking for another city that is coming. And so Jesus Christ is really at the door, because the times are just closing up. The devil is doing his thing, but so is the Lord. And the devil is a liar. The Lord is victorious. But all of these are laid out. So they should not cause any Christian to be surprised or to be despairing unless we take our eyes off the Lord and the Word. So what's happening is an encouragement that Jesus is coming soon, but it's also a motivation that we need to be ready, and we need to help as many persons as possible to be ready, because the only leader who is going to fix this world is Jesus Christ.
Amen. Thank you so much, Pastor, for your time. I believe that during the series I'll be here, ABN will be here to capture some events.
Looking forward.
Thank you so much for watching. This is Pastor Philemon. See you next time.